do this. See how this works. So we got sound, not enough head. Okay, we're back. We're going to be cutting vents in the dash. And I did one last time, learned a lot of stuff, so we're going to talk about that. And we'll put the camera on the dash. There we go. So what I learned cutting this one, the big thing was that the metal structure in here is narrower than than the vent. So let's see, put this up. You can see this is the bottom, and that's kind of the edge. The piece of metal is literally right there, so I can't cut it down anymore. So this one kind of butts up a little bit below it, and there is a little room, but this is pretty much at the top here. So that's an issue, and the way I decided to address it is knocking everything over on the workbench. No. What I'm going to do is make the vents in two pieces. We're going to glue this one into the front. I'm going to make another piece that mates to the metal in the back, glue that in the back, and that's it. There were a couple other things I could have done. I could have made it smaller, but I've already got the hole cut, so I don't like that. I could have tried to put a step in the back part of the vent, which makes this part more complicated. I think the best way to address it is the two-part. Yeah. So there's a couple things I need to do. One, we're going to slice this out. I think I'm going to do this first, though. This is going to be a mess. Safety goggles for the ears and plugs for the eyes. I want to take this foam off the back. See if my angle grinder can do the job, or maybe I'll just have to do it by hand. Yeah, that isn't going to reach. So, means I don't need the ear holes yet. I am going to need them at some point. So, start. Sound? Yes. So the first thing I'm going to do, cutting these in, the remaining three, is try to remove as much of this foam from the metal backing on this side. So it's a little easier to see where it is and get everything cut through. That isn't going to work. Thought I could wire brush it off. No bueno. So pull it with the pliers. It's such a strange, not strange, but it's a concave shape, which makes it really hard to get any tools in there. There's no room. It's a concave shape, which makes it very hard to get tools in here because there's no room to maneuver. Yeah, maybe I'm not going to try that. That was better in theory than it was in practice. Okay, so that brings us over to this side. Now I'm going to put this back on there the way it was, but I'm going to mark the outside, and that is where we're going to cut to. And then we'll just make the flange on the vent bigger. It has to be bigger anyway. This is really no flange at all, just enough to make the prototype. There, we got it marked in with pencil. Go this way a bit. There, that's pretty good, or better. So let us start cutting. The brand new blade and the hobby knife. A lot of light strokes. You can punch it through, but then it tends to veer off to one side or the other. This is 56-year-old vinyl. So it isn't going to take kindly to rough hand. This is 56-year-old vinyl. It's not going to take kindly to rough handling, so we'll be gentle, a lot of strokes to cut through. Right there is an example of what happens when you try to put force. There, we've got one line cut. Going to do the rest of them, and then we'll pull it out. And down so I can see. Stop.
this is a little hard. Now this is probably going to just pop right out. I mean, the whole middle section is so cracked. But I'm trying to save every bit I can. Now we've got a cut. Time to try to pull this out. I'm trying to avoid as cracking any more of it, pulling the the part we're cutting out away. This foam is amazingly resilient for how old it is. The vinyl only fared as well. So that looks pretty good. Up there. We've got most of this foam cleared out here. And we can see this part is really curving back under at that point. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. Save that so I don't have to print out another one. Stuff is going along. Too much stuff on the bench. Save this because you never know when you're going to need a piece of 50-year-old vinyl that matches the pattern. So I think I'm going to do a cut. So when we look at this hole that we just cut, you can see the issues we ran into. This structure curves a lot right here, and we're at the very bottom of it right here. And we're almost at the very top of it here. So we've just got enough room to fit this vent in there. So it's going to have to be in two pieces. We'll cut this out. We'll glue one in from the top. We'll glue a piece in from the back that matches that radius and then mates up to the flexible ductwork. And that was the explanation of why we're changing direction and how we're going to fix the issue. this. This is going to be a pain, but should be able to. Need the hammer. Drilling the holes. I'm going to try to center punch the corners of the holes we need. And drill them. This is so difficult to work with. Can't see anything. I think that's one. Go for one up here. This center punches. Not the best. Shit. I mean, rocks. Did not want to do that. Okay, that's odd. There we go. And one last one up here in this corner. Yeah, I broke those. Shit. Now let's see what we can see from the back side. Got a hole there. Let's see one up there. Got one there. Probably sticking my head in front of the camera. Now I'm just kind of hoping that I'll be able to fix this. Fix the leather covering, I mean, where it's cracked. Yeah, I can see the holes. This might show it. So So this here's, see, that's through, hole here. Should be able to connect those across the bottom with the die grinder. I think will be our next task.
Marinate.
Oh, there's no metal up there. That's, well, I'll probably have to follow that. Just cut that across. Where's my silver Sharpie? That would work. Somewhere? Anywhere? In here. There. Microphone does look like it's working. Okay, good. So that's what we want to cut. See, okay? Check this. Yep. 'Tis working. Good, good, good. Now, can I get in there on this side? Would be ideal. Here I can. So that's awesome. So that's the shot I'll get. Good. Cutting it out with the die grinder. And that one I can't hit. Okay, let's flippy dip it. See if we can hit it from that side. I can kind of see one of them. Oh. There. We've got 2 slots cut. Now I'm going to try to drill holes and connect the top and bottom. That's going to be really, really hard. I don't like the center punch. It doesn't actually fucking punch anything. Yeah, I had something hardened up here. I don't know if this is Center punch. Just give it a shot. Well, let's give that a shot. So I think I've got thought I had a hole punched in there. Ah. Yeah, that's not good. That is something I need. A piece of wood or something to support that from the back. Or I'm just going to absolutely destroy this. Is this tall enough? No, but something else might. There we go. It's just impossible. Where's the other one? That works.
There. You can get the picture from that. I'm going to drill those up and down here, drill them out bigger until they coalesce and we can get that piece out. I need this. Get the little chunks that are in the way out. Confuse the hammer for the drill. That should be pretty good on that side. I'm not sure where to put it over here. Why is everything I own magnetic? You know what, I'm probably just going to cut that whole center section out because it doesn't connect anyway. So, that is good. These drill bits I have just absolute garbage. Ow! Ow, 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 ow. Who'd have thought the tip of the drill bit would be hot? Apparently not. Good, maybe I'll try one more. Yeah, that's as good as we're gonna get with the drill bitting. And now, clip out.
crazy with showing all this. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't.
I should really have a sawing glove. There we go.
Why is that so difficult? So that's cut through. Man, I could use a one-ended hacksaw handle.
Got an air saw, but I think that'll just butcher this, and I think it's broken.
Can you get in there a little more? This. No, not really.
Which way is cut it?
Push. And get more than one tooth engaged, cuts pretty well. Impossible. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Why is it suddenly... Maybe I can cut that from the back, so we won't worry about that. We'll worry about this one. It's a long way to cut. Yeah, that we can definitely get from the back. Now, oh, that's pretty much through. Hey. Yeah, and that's okay. Give another shot. Perfect. That's one. We got that puppy going on. Sword. Action camera. Now we have the piece of metal is out. Got these. The piece of metal is out. We got the drill holes coalesced enough to get it out. A little more work with the die grinder with the cutoff wheel. Got it all out. Now we're going to clean up these edges a little bit with a carbide bit. I could keep from hitting things. If I could keep from ramming the die grinder into the dash pad, things would go a lot better. That's about as good as we're going to get. Now let's test fit our sample vent in here. Fits in perfect. Now put a big crack in it. Might have to try just recovering this with some vinyl over the top. I don't know how that's going to work. First thing I'm going to try to do is glue all these cracks shut. These weren't so bad because I can make the flanges a little bit bigger. But this sucks. That is a big crack. So apparently the rejuvenation with the 303 protectant spray wasn't all cracked up. But that's how we've got the holes cut in. Showed you how to do that one. Now I'm just going to do the last two on the outside and not film that, because filming makes things take 3 times as long. And I need to get this done before I die. So that wasn't too bad. Learning as I go. Need to support the backside. I'm going to clean a little bit of this stuff off here if I can without killing my cameras. And we're done with it now. Really need to service my truck. Get all these parts off the bench. How long have I been live? Not very. What is Twitch free? Unstable. How can you be unstable? Twitch is not a good thing. Literally, how can you be unstable? Am I dropping frames somewhere? I didn't record it. Forgot to use my checklist. Drop frames. 0. 52 frames lost rendering. I don't think I'm the problem. I think Twitch is the problem. But did it tell me how long I had? An hour, not quite. I think I'm going to call that good. I think I'm going to cut these someplace else where I can get to them better and then come back out here. So I think that means we are going to end the stream. So if you're watching, thanks. I will try to be back tomorrow.